The United States is at the center of a trade war this morning. President Donald Trump following through on threats to impose steep tariffs on the country's three largest trading partners.
Canada, China and Mexico will now face tariffs of up to 25%, with all three countries retaliating. For more, we are joined by US finance expert Ted Jenkins live from Atlanta. Ted, thanks so much for your time. The gloves are off, it seems. I mean, aside from asserting his authority, what does Trump gain from these tariffs?
Well, Sarah, let's remind people the theory of tariffs is to tax items coming into your country, make them more expensive, and people will buy less of them. So in my view, I think the president thinks from these tariffs, it's a way of growing the U.S. economy by having Americans buy more products that are made in America, protect jobs in America, maybe create more of them, and create some immediacy of tax revenue that's needed by the United States. Now, these 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, I think, are really there for two reasons. Number one, to try and stop the flow of undocumented migrants. And number two, to stop the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. So that's, I think, what President Trump is trying to gain here in the short term.
Do we expect more to come for China?
Absolutely. We'll see how China responds. There was only a 10% tariff now. My guess is that they will retaliate. Hopefully, the war doesn't escalate. It's no good if two of the world's largest economies get in a retaliatory tariff fight, but I do think you'll see them retaliate.
The concern, I guess, the global implications as well. Australia, we've been spared for the moment, but anyone's in the firing line when it comes to Trump, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, absolutely. The primary issue for everyone around the world is the U word of uncertainty. It's uncertainty for the stock markets. It's uncertainty for the currencies of countries. Look at Canada's got devalued already, and it can cause disruption in the global supply chain. And then everyone in every country feels higher inflation over time. It does no good, like I said, if they get in a retaliatory trade war here. There's just major global trade disruption.
The president loves it. Good on you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, the
you.
local share market is expected to fall today as investors react to Donald Trump's trade war imposing tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China.
Let's bring in John Keogh, economics editor at the Australian Financial Review in Canberra.
Hey,
good morning to you, Johnny. So how will Trump's tariffs on other countries affect us here in Australia?
Yeah, good morning, Sarah and Carl. Look, the most immediate impact of these tit-for-tat tariffs between the US, Canada, Mexico and China will be on our local share market and indeed the value of our superannuation funds. Now, the ASX 200 actually hit a record high on Friday, closing high 8,532 points. So it's really priced for perfection for not much to go wrong. But we're seeing futures pricing this morning pointing to more than a 1% fall today, which is a pretty sizable one-day fall. And we'll see corporate CEOs speaking at half-year profit results this week. They're going to get a lot of questions about how this trade war across the world could now impact their global operations too.
So Trade Minister Don Farrell, he's had a busy year, is seeking urgent talks with his US counterpart to protect Australian exports. He'd be getting on his bike pretty quickly, wouldn't he?
He would be, and he's done a pretty good job, Don Farrell. Of course, he's got that trade Dante with China, letting the tariffs off there, but now he's got a new challenge with Trump also threatening to impose tariffs on all countries by the middle of this month. That includes pharmaceuticals, steel, aluminium, and they're some of Australia's biggest exports to the US, so Australia might not get off scot-free here. He's got to try and speak to Howard Lutnick, who's the Commerce Secretary in the US. The problem with that is he hasn't actually been sworn in yet, so Farrell can't actually speak to him till he's officially in the job.
There's still a bit to play out,
You can have a beer with him or something, can't he?
Just toss it out.
A Budweiser maybe, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Johnny.